welcome to another Uneducated horror news / update. No, I'm just kidding, but all right. So today we have a few topics to discuss. Did a little bit of research, got some news for some upcoming movies that I am interested in, and you guys may be as well. All right. So starting off with an update from The Crow, starring Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs. If I pronounce that correctly, I am not 100% sure who that is. I'm not even like 1% sure. Anyway, so the plot will be basically a merciless story of revenge as soulmates Eric Draven and Shelley Webster. Eric Draven, played by Bill Skarsgård, and Shelley Webster, played by FKA Twigs, are brutally murdered as Shelley's past catches up with them, with Eric being given the option to sacrifice himself in order to save her. I haven't watched the original in quite some time. I'm pretty sure that's around the same premise, of course. The original, actually, the gothic atmosphere and cinematography really messed with me as a kid. I was actually kind of terrified of that movie, but I could watch it no problem. Anyway, so first things first, it's being directed by Rupert Sanders. From his filmography, the only ones that I know of are Snow White and The Huntsman and the 2017 Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson. I never watched it, but I know about it. So this film, it'll have a budget of $50 million, and they're trying to get this thing out the door as soon as possible. That could be a good or a bad thing in my opinion. It'll probably be a bad thing in my opinion. You should always take your time, but they are trying to get this thing out because the producer on it, I believe he's been working on this for years now, originally with Jason Momoa. I forgot who else, and then now Bill Skarsgård is in it as the title character. So as for the concern of the Die Hard fans, you may be put at ease, as one of the producers said, respecting the legacy of The Crow is one of the most important aspects of the filmmaking process for the new Crow film. So that should put your mind at ease. They've been working on this thing for quite some time, so I can understand the urgency of getting it out. But in most cases, when they urge to get a film out, it's to send it to an early grave. But I'm optimistic about this one. Bill Skarsgård is a fantastic actor. Lately, he's been doing the weird roles, which is awesome for him. I'm going to try to get a trailer reaction out for Boy Kills the World, I think is what it is. But anyway, you can expect to see The Crow in theaters on June 17th, 2024. So that's exciting. And the next is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It has begun pre-production with the same director, Emma Tammy, coming back to direct. They plan to release it around Halloween, so around that spooky season. So they must have some faith in this to release it around that time. I personally like the first one. I watched it from like a younger self perspective, to where if I was younger, I would love this movie and it would probably stick with me for my whole life. But as an adult, I found bright spots in it. I love Josh Hutcherson. Matthew Lillard, of course, is fantastic. And speaking of those two, Josh Hutcherson is expected to return. With him showing enthusiasm about the potential of what's to come, he was talking a lot about the possibilities that they could follow through with, and he wants to explore his character more, which is understandable. And then he's also showing appreciation to the fans because he didn't expect such a reaction when the film came out. And the average film goer or moviegoer, of course, was, I don't really, get this. But as far as the fans go, I haven't really seen any of the fans that I know of trash this film. They all thought it was spot on. And Matthew Lillard has also expressed a urge to return, which I thought he was tremendous in that. It was kind of like a Scream moment for the new generation. I know it's not a Scream film, but just, him being unmasked. Spoiler, apologize about that. And, so you can expect to see that around Halloween. If everything goes smoothly, hopefully it does. I'm not too sure if it's going to go straight to streaming or theater. I forgot the last one, if it went to theaters or not, because I watched it on streaming. Anyway. All right, so, and the one that I'm truly excited for is Smile 2. I can't help but talk about this movie. Not much has been confirmed except for the cast and which stars are returning. So Kyle Garner or Gallner will return as Joe. He was, oh, I forgot her name. The lead's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend in Smile 1, and if you've seen that movie, the ending is perfection. And I'm excited to see where it goes from there, just because if you've seen that movie, you know what happens with the curse. And once you see somebody do a particular thing, it gets passed on to you. So he saw that, and now it gets passed on to him. So I'm hoping he's not just like in the beginning and then, and that's it. So here's to hoping he's actually in it. And the next person that is cast in this film will be the lead. It is Naomi Scott. She is from the live-action Aladdin and then also that Power Rangers attempted reboot. I was a hater of that movie at first, and then once I saw it, I was like, wow, this is a pretty good modern Power Ranger movie. I know a lot of people hated on it because they were expecting something else just because that YouTube short, but I thought it was fantastic. Not like a perfect film, but I thought it was fantastic as far as a Power Rangers film. And then Lucas Gage from the Netflix show You has also joined the cast. I'm not too sure what his role will be. I did like him in You. I thought that was a good show up until I think it's like season 3. I haven't even finished. Kind of lost interest in it, even though I believe that's the season he's in. He's one of the bright spots of it. So it is currently in pre-production, so there's really nothing out about it at the moment, but you can take solace in the fact that it is actually expected to be a part of a multi-year deal between the director/writer Parker Finn and Paramount Pictures, so hopefully we'll get another sequel or maybe a spin-off or something. Either way, they seem to be taking this, I guess, franchise seriously, and Parker Finn, I mean, it seems like at this moment he could do no wrong, because Smile is probably one of the best horror movies I've seen in the past at least 5 years. So the director Parker Finn has stated that he still has plenty to explore within the world of Smile, and some things in the planned sequel were set up in the first installment. And he was speaking as in there's some rocks that are still unturned. So I'm excited for that, just to kind of see where he goes with this. Because I mean, to begin with, Smile 1 could be a standalone film, and it doesn't need a sequel. I thought it was perfect the way it was, but with how his creativity worked in Smile 1, I'm excited for any sequels to come. I think we can all agree if you've seen that movie and you enjoyed it. He also plans to provide more scares, more unnerving moments, and even more unpredictability, which you couldn't ask for more when it comes to a horror movie, especially when it's Smile. So the planned release date of Smile 2 is October 18th, 2024. Alright, so the next topic will be the Evil Dead spinoff. Me personally, I can't say that I was a fan of Evil Dead Rise. I honestly thought it was treating the audience like they were dumb or retarded. I made it like 5-10 minutes in. I had to call it. I was extremely excited for it because Fede Alvarez, his 2013 Evil Dead, fantastic fucking movie. I love that movie. It scared me in ways that I haven't been scared of for a while. So with this Evil Dead spinoff, it has found a director with French filmmaker Sebastian Vinacek, if I'm saying that correctly. I'm probably not. Apologize for butchering that. Anyways, he started saying he plans to give it a French twist. I'm not too familiar with French filmmaking, so I don't know what that could possibly mean. Hopefully it's a good thing. It's something I'm not used to, so it'll be a fresh experience for me. So it'll expected to have a French twist, with post-production being planned to take place in France with his teams. So it'll definitely, I think it'll be better than most horror movies coming out, just because it's not going to be an American company fucking going through and butchering this film into something that is unwatchable, which seemed to be the current theme in Hollywood. So with this, it will be in English, but it will have a French lead. This guy's kind of making it in his own image. Not like the character's based off of him or anything, but it's going to be inspired by his style of filmmaking instead of what like an American studio wants. And then Sebastian also stated, I want to make a nasty film. A film that hurts, from which you come away tested. Sheesh. And I'm going to put all the horror I have inside. So that right there has me extremely excited for this, just because the brutality of the 2013 Evil Dead did have a lot of gore, it had a lot of brutality, but it also had a lot of soul to it. The characters, they had great chemistry, and the overall story about drug addiction, that was pretty heavy as well. But the straight brutality of it is what sold me on it, along with what I just mentioned, of course. So for this director to say he wants to make a nasty film and a film that hurts, I'm all in, man. I mean, you're speaking my language right now. And then after that, he said he actually has plans to move on from horror. Oh, jeez. Anyway, so hopefully it isn't a waste of time. But the planned release date for the Evil Dead spinoff will be between 2025 and 2026, so we still have some time on that. Still excited either way. I mean, Evil Dead, I'll always check it out. And then the next film up is The Conjuring 4. It will be directed by Michael Chavez, I believe is his name, who directed The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and The Nun 2. One of those I was pleased with. The other one, I felt it was a snooze fest and meh at best. I'm not going to say which is which. I don't want to be a hater, but Devil Made Me Do It. But the news coming in today is that The Conjuring will be the last of the main title series. So it won't be the last of the Conjuring universe, just the last of the main title series. And they still plan to do spin-offs, that being the new focus, which is exciting because I know I'm not the only one that has been hoping for a Crooked Man film to finally be fucking made. Tommy Gunn, I know, you're in that same boat. But it feels like we're up shit's creek without a paddle. So hopefully this opens up the opportunity for that. I didn't get a release date on The Conjuring 4. Nothing has really been said except for, the guy coming back to direct it. And it will be the last one. So hopefully they go out with a bang and not a whimper. Because, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to be a hater. And then now before we get to the last little tidbit of news, I have another update for 28 Years Later. That update being, from what I'm reading, Cillian Murphy will be reprising his role as Jim and will lead the film. Yes, yes. Yeah, I don't think there was a better choice. And then another little tidbit, aside from that, is I guess there is a spin-off plan, but they're actually planning on making a trilogy as well. So it looks like us 28 fans are going to be eating pretty good for a little bit, and hopefully it's all worth it. I don't really think they could screw this up at all, just with Danny Boyle and Alex Garland being so invested in this. So I'm here for it. And then Cillian Murphy is beyond talented, and being able to see him in this type of atmosphere again, I mean, it will definitely be a pleasure to watch. So let me know what you think about that below. And then now, last but certainly not least, Texas Chainsaw Legacy. At this moment, it is just a rumor. It's just a rumor. That's why I saved it for last. But it has an interesting premise, in my opinion. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's something slightly different than what we've gotten from the Texas Chainsaw universe, which, in my opinion, it's like 50% good, 50% some of the worst shit I've ever seen. Anyway, my favorite word, anyway. It will take place in an idyllic gated community as the lawns are manicured, security patrols for the safety of property and persons, only to be hated by the Sawyers, who live on the outskirts of the gated community before all hell breaks loose. So I think that is pretty interesting. Sounds like it's going to be a pretty high body count if this is what they're actually doing. And then I think there'll be some great moments of tension. I just hope it's not too big of a neighborhood or a gated community, because then at some point it will be kind of unrealistic with people not getting help and authorities showing up. So now this began as just a rumor at the moment, but it is unknown if it will be a sequel to the Netflix Chainsaw Massacre, which I thoroughly enjoyed, or if it'll be a standalone film. It is known that Netflix did request multiple sequels to their Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just because the viewing numbers did fairly decent in their opinion. So only time will tell with that. I'm hoping it's a direct sequel or even a prequel to Netflix's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, kind of fill in what happened before he arrived in that town, and because not a lot of that was explained. Um, but I mean, even if it's a standalone, I'm always here for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I mean, I've loved it since forever. The older ones are some of the worst ones in my opinion, excluding the first, because that's without that we wouldn't have what we have now. But the ones with Jessica Biel, Jordana Brewster, I really enjoyed that one. The one with what was her name, Alexandria Daddario or whatever. That one was good until the end, and then that shit became a cringe fest. But now I'm just starting to ramble. But that's all I have for today as far as updates and news goes. And I thank you guys for tuning in, and remember,
stay spooky.